It's the Boomey-Factor review show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Night Lounge's Boomey-Factor review show. I am KODX Factor, and I am here again solo this week. My boy Boomey is actually tied up. I don't even think he may have even had a chance to really play today's game, which is State of Decay 2. And we are here to review the Microsoft Game Studios and Undead Labs open world zombie survival game, State of Decay 2. Now, State of Decay 2 has been delayed. It's been seeked out for a number of years now. Was promised back in 2017, never came to fruition. Then it was promised in the spring of this year, and now we finally have it here in May. So it had a lot of build-up. It had a lot of building points to it. There was a lot of things that people were talking about. The original State of Decay was kind of one of them cult following phenomenons. It really had a following to it. Not one of the biggest games in the world, but it definitely had its following, which warranted the second one. Now, State of Decay 2 is one of those open world 4-player co-op zombie survival games. So it is a 4-player co-op online that you can join into a world with your buddies. It's simple pop in, pop out co-op. So you can join a buddy's game at any point, you can drop out at any point, and it's not going to affect the gameplay of anybody else. Unless you happen to be in a fight with a whole bunch of zombies and you just happen to leave, then leaving them to fight everything else by themselves. That's kind of jacked up. But it essentially works that way that you can do that.
Open your eyes.
Now, the way that State of Decay 2 works out is you start in an area, you pick an area you want to choose, you start a base. You find a place, you get a free base you can start up, and then you start building from there. You build on additional rooms, such as workshops, beds, kitchens, gardens, a whole lot of things. And then you expand on that. So as you go out into the open world, you start finding these buildings that you can then claim as outposts for yourself and your crew. And your crew you start off with is very, very minimal. So you start with just the bare essentials. So you start with a nurse and then a soldier, just to kind of get you going. But then once you choose your area, you can then venture out into the world and find other survivors to kind of help you along the way. You can either help them out to where they become a trade partner with you later on, which honestly, trade partners are very, very valuable, so don't underestimate the value of a trade partner. Or you can convince them to come back to base with you, and then they are an NPC that you can then have in your base, have at your disposal. Now, everybody's characteristics and traits are different. So you have to pay attention to that. So anybody that you bring in, including your main character you start with, has characteristic traits that define them to help you within your base and help you survive. Some may be better at fighting. Some are better at cardio. Some of them are mechanics. Others are cooks. Some are good with medicine. You have to differentiate and then expand and build upon those traits that they excel at. Those will help you along the way, and they will help build and shape your community that you're trying to build. And the further you get into the game, you're going to find more people. More people need help. Keep in mind, though, if you ignore any of these NPCs that you find out in the world that need help, you ignore them, they leave town, or they say they're leaving town, they find other people to join up with, and they will become hostile to you if you cross them. Just keep that in mind. Me and a buddy of mine went into a police station, ended up crossing a couple people that I ignored, and they ended up firing on us as soon as they saw our faces. NPCs are not to be trifled with. But there are some flaws to State of Decay. Yes, it has a really, really cool, unique leveling up system for all your characters. And I love how everybody's traits are different. Everybody's worlds are different. I've jumped into other friends' games. Their worlds are different than mine. Everybody's not the same. I think that's awesome. I would love to see, it has a day and night cycle. That's cool. I would like to see weather effects in the game at some point. But the game does have its share of bugs. I'm talking about game crashing bugs. bugs that you'd have to reset your game or go to the last checkpoint. Because you end up, there's a lot of collision, a lot of off collision detections. There's a lot of screen tearing. The frame rates are not the greatest right now. I'm sure as they advance later on down the line, they're going to put out patches to fix these. And when you play in multiplayer, there's been a countless number of times that I've experienced getting kicked out of games. You know, these Xbox errors or these errors that are popping up that kick you out of a game, and you then have to rejoin. Or the host game crashes, and then everybody goes back to their original game.
Can't survive on my own.
A lot of the same issues that 7 Days to Die had early on seem to transition over to this game, and they're two different games, two different studios. So the game does have its fair share of bugs.
Let's get you home.
Graphically, it's not this massive masterpiece neither. I kind of was expecting a little bit more when it came to things such as that, but all in all, State of Decay is it's a solid zombie survival game. And if you go into it with just the pure ambition to go in and play with friends of yours, you're going to have some experiences that will leave you guys laughing and you guys saying, Xbox, record that. Because it is an Xbox exclusive. Now, a couple things that the game does have going for it. It's almost never ending. There's a lot of things you could do to your weapons and to your vehicles that make it so much cooler to be in. Also, the price point is, to me, essential. Because had this been a $60 game, this game would have been crucified on reviews. It's not a $60 title. But I think at the $29.99 price point that they have this game out at, I think it's perfect. It's half the cost of a new game. And I think Microsoft knew that. Microsoft kind of knew what it was getting when it was getting ready to put this game out. That's why when they announced this game with a $29.99 price point, everybody was shocked. Everybody was like surprised. Like, wow, really? $29.99, huh?
Good to see you.
But now we see why. It does have a share of flaws. Not to mention to me, and I talked about this on my the Jump Off podcast, that the zombie survival games are getting a little bit oversaturated now, and they're becoming dry.
You're up.
It's a whole lot of rinse repeat, which leads this game to become boring after a while.
Work keeps us alive.
You feel like you've done a lot already, and it's just kind of like you're just going through the motions again and again, which is not a good sign for a game like this. You kind of want to keep it new, keep it fresh, something that doesn't seem like you're doing a whole lot of something for nothing. You clear out infestations all to make your people happy. But all in all, State of Decay 2 it's a good game for what it delivered on at that price point. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a good game. So that's why we give State of Decay 2 3 brown poopies out of 5. It's a good game. It's not bad, but it's a good game. So I thank you guys for watching. I am KODX Factor. This is the Boomey-Factor review show. Make sure you stay tuned because we got a couple more games coming on down the line. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, game on, everybody.